Welcome back, everyone, to Drop Frames, going on the second hour here. Where to begin? Cole, I've been wanting to talk to you about this all week. Let's talk with, or start with Battle Chasers real quick. I've seen the first 5 minutes of this game. Does it change much after that? And what are your thoughts on it?
Okay, so I heard about Battle Chasers the day before I played it. I didn't know much about it. Heard it was based on an old comic. Heard it was an RPG that was turn-based, kind of JRPG-ish. I said, oh, okay, this could be kind of cool. I fired it up, played it for about 4 hours straight, and have fallen in love with it. Battle Chasers is a very cool JRPG-inspired game with lots of interesting mechanics, a lot of depth. There's multiple different ways to traverse the maps. There's like an exploration mode, a world map. You can also, the fighting is all turn-based in its various areas. Lots of randomness. All the dungeons are procedural. You can also choose difficulty levels to give you more loot. And frankly, I'm just having a great time in it. I think I'm about 8 hours in now. I think I'm going to play it all day tomorrow. It's been really fun. A lot of strategy in terms of how you assign different perks and how you play your characters, and if you use mana or rely on overdrive and how you utilize overdrive. And yeah, it's really fun.
Do you have any classic Final Fantasy?
A little bit, yeah. Do you have any idea how long the actual game or the full game is?
Somebody asked me that today, and there's no overall percentage, but you can open up, there's like a tracker that tracks your progress. I was like 2 of 8 dungeons, about a quarter through unique monsters discovered, about a quarter through unique fish discovered. There's fishing in the game.
Yep.
And I had been playing for about 7 hours at that point.
Okay.
It is important to mention, though, that because the dungeons are procedural and there's 3 different difficulty levels and you have to beat the second to unlock the third, there is a lot of room for replayability for people that want to kind of dive in and, farm items and farm levels and things like that.
Yeah. One of my favorite things about this game, because I didn't read the comics, but my brother did. And so I'm familiar with Battle Chasers. The art style of the comic was always my favorite thing. I loved the design of all the characters. I liked the giant fucking golem. I like the little girl with the fucking gloves. The knight. There's a couple other characters that I think are in the game but not shown here. That art style is pretty much 1-to-1 with the game, and so it's very visually striking. The game looks fucking great, I think, and the character designs are all awesome.
The art style, the music, the dialogue in general, and then every so often during the main quest, you actually get fully voice-acted dialogue. There's also very anime comic book style cutscenes that play every so often. You can do burst moves, which are like powered up moves, and enemies can have burst moves as well. And whenever you do that, it does like a comic book style, like the whole enemy across the screen in a pose doing something crazy, and then he powers up as the camera goes around him. It's got a lot of kind of classic over-the-top JRPG influence, but at the same time, like very colorful comic book style visuals and stuff. And then the music, every so often, I'll just catch myself being like, man, this music is great. Like I'll be just not even realizing I'm listening, and then just kind of realize it's kind of there in the background, very well set in. And yeah, not only that, there's a huge amount of lore, which is really cool as well. Every dungeon has like different lore things you can find. There's the whole fishing system. There's an artifact system with an in-game currency box system. So you can find these artifacts randomly, sell them for coins, then you can use those coins to buy like really rare items or boxes that have a chance to get you items. There is no cash shop, by the way.
Okay.
There's also a full like little town area, bunch of different vendors with a full crafting system. You can upgrade stores, so you can actually deposit money into stores to get them better inventories. It's pretty deep. There's a lot to this game, at least that I've seen so far. But yeah.
How varied are the dungeon tiled sets? Because from what I've seen of the game and what I've played the 20 minutes of it, every tile set looked to be the same. Is there a lot of variance there in terms of the look and different places you're fighting?
I've been to 2 major dungeons, and they've been completely different. In terms of like the actual randomly procedure generated tiles.
Yeah.
I've done the first dungeon 2 or 3 times, and there's definitely a little bit of repetition because there's like certain iconic rooms that will be in the dungeon. So like for instance, in the first dungeon, there's a puzzle, and that requires a large area, and that large area is probably going to look the same in each procedurally generated tile because you need a lot of room for the puzzle. And there's a few things like that for different kind of landmarks. But outside of that, the 2 different times I did it, like it looked outside of the tile set, they were completely different in terms of what was in the dungeon, where they were, things like that.
That's cool. Difficulty wise, is what are you playing on, and how is it?
Difficulty wise, I don't think there's a difficulty slider. If there is, I must have breezed by it. It's been pretty easy so far. There have definitely been a couple fights that I've almost died, particularly boss fights. There have been a couple mobs that are just brutal compared to the other ones that I fought. But I'd say right now about 80 to 90% of the fight is kind of sleep through it and go just kind of, spam A and go through it.
Yeah.
I will say, though, that in the classic style that I play games, I have done some farming already. I did the first dungeon twice. My characters are generally higher level than what I'm fighting, so it may be a little bit different if you're pushing the main story only. But yeah, I mean, it hasn't been too difficult so far. I have heard it gets significantly more difficult later, though.
Cool.
Was this a Kickstarter?
I don't know if it was Kickstarter.
You know what? I will say I'm not sure if it was on Kickstarter,
see.
but I have noticed that every so often you get lore items that specifically say, like, from the tome of Kickstarter or something. So
it was indeed Kickstarted, kickstarted. They had a goal of 500,000 and they raised 850,000.
Nice.
Ooh.
Yeah. So yeah, that's out. Oh, they're from. I didn't realize they were from Austin. Yeah, I'm trying to see if they have plans to add anything else, but there's a lot on the. Jesus, they have so much stuff on the Kickstarter. There's alternate hero appearances.
You can buy those in that store with that special currency.
Gotcha. There's town upgrades. I didn't even know there was a town. Do you have a town already, Ko? Is that spoilers?
No, I think that's what I was saying earlier.
Oh,
Like
okay,
the first town,
gotcha.
Like you can upgrade the buildings now to give you better stuff.
There's the arena battle mode. There's a lot of stuff for sure. So, yeah, this has been on my radar. It starts off a little bit slow. I don't know if it picks up that much or that quick in the beginning, but it seems like it's a pretty good game for $30 on Steam. I don't know if this is coming to consoles. Do you have any idea, Ko? If it's
I think it's on PS4.
okay, cool. So console people got some love as well. But yeah,
Someone in chat can confirm that. That'd be great.
I will add this to my list then, because this looks pretty good.
yeah. People
It's
are saying it'll also be on Switch later. So if you want some games to go, there you go for sure.
Which?
Yeah. Well, cool. Zeke, you played a game that I know the name of. I have absolutely no idea what it is, which is usually the case. But you played some Ruiner, and I think Ko maybe touched on this a little bit as well. What is Ruiner?
Yeah.
I
Ruiner
did a couple
is
drinking streams of Ruiner.
yeah. Ruiner is a twin stick for sure. Twin stick action game with a cyberpunk feel and a really kick-ass soundtrack, really kick-ass OST. It feels a bit like a little bit like Hotline Miami, just a little bit in the gameplay feel of it, except it's quicker. There's boss fights, and the environment's completely different. I'm just saying, like, gameplay wise, it felt a lot like that, and you could play it like that, in that I tried to play mostly melee. Like, you can see me, I'm just like, you can gun them down, but I was having way more fun just getting up close and slicing them, and I was putting my skills. Oh, that's one of the best things I wanted to bring up about this game. One of the greatest things about this game is you can swap skills on the fly. They're not locked in. So once you get a skill point, you can put it into whatever you want, and if you go to a boss, you can switch it completely. You can do, like, your skills for facing trash mobs, and then switch out your skills for facing boss fights. Like, there's this, like, I can't remember the name of the skill. It's like overdrive or something like that. That's super great for bosses because it gives you, like, more damage, and you move around a ton faster, but it takes your energy meter away. But it's good for, like, going up to boss and just, like, and just slicing them as fast as you can and stuff like that. But honestly, dude, it's a fantastic game. Great art style, cool cyberpunky elements. Like, he has this mask that says, like, weird esoteric random shit on it. Like, what are some of them, like?
Hello, darkness.
Hello, darkness. You have no friends or something like that, or
Oh, this
like
looks
that.
super cyberpunky.
Oh,
Yeah,
it is.
it does.
Totally
Yeah.
is. The action is great. I suggest if you are familiar with twin sticks, play it on hard. It's difficult, but it's doable difficult. I played it on hard for the first time, and I beat it in, I think, I want to say like 8-ish, 9-ish hours, something like that.
Okay.
I think
Yeah. Cody.
I can actually see here.
Okay. While you're
Actually, it was longer than that. It was like 12-ish.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But that's
So-
me. And I play on controller, by the way. I play twin sticks on controller, and I don't say by the way like I'm some hot shit. It feels better to me. If you
Oh, shit,
like
here's
twin
the-
sticks on controller, this feels fine. It feels good.
And
It
I was going to
plays-
say it's
plays well.
interesting because I did the opposite
Hmm.
in both regards. I
Mhm.
played with mouse and keyboard, and I primarily used guns.
Okay.
So my stat loadout was probably totally different, but at the same time, obviously both ways are just fine in how you play the game. Zeke probably had a more in-your-face action experience. Mine was more of kind of a kite, use the mouse to aim, try to kite people around obstacles, and try to utilize as many guns as you can and save as much ammo as you can. So same game, completely different experiences. We both had a great time. And I got to say this though, man, range, the way that I was playing it, and that mother fight, holy shit, dude! I probably died 100 times.
Really?
That beam just instant kills every
it did.
time.
Yeah.
Oh my god, man, it was a nightmare, and I was drinking every death on that. I
wonder if
beat
that
at
had
worse
something to do
times
with it.
do that.
Yeah.
I really do.
No, and
Anyway.
but that's the thing. Once you figure out like a certain combination on all the different hard enemies or bosses or whatever, it feels satisfying when you're like, fuck, how am I gonna beat this guy? I've died like 15 times in a row. What the fuck am I? I'm gonna switch these around. I'm gonna try this, and then you find one. You're like, oh, that's how I do it. You go do the stun, do this, back up, slice, wait for him to teleport, and it's just you get into a rhythm, and
Hey,
it's
Dark
a lot
Souls
of fun.
fight, man.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun for sure.
Is this what we're watching here, Zeke? Is this a boss fight or just a normal fight? Like, what are we seeing here?
These are normal mobs.
Okay, I'm having a hard time
Yep.
discerning what is boss and what is not.
You'll see a big red bar.
Oh, okay. The boss have HP meters. Gotcha. Cool.
Yeah, they do. They do.
Are they're dropping their guns? Is there loot, or is it just kind of like this gun dropped?
Well, the funny thing is, after you beat because you'll walk. This might be a boss that pops out of this. I'm not sure. Where
Looks
this
like
is.
it. Yeah, there's a.
Yep, he has a
Yep.
skull over his head. Nyack, yes, mini boss. But when you beat a mob, you go into an area, and then you do like a fight, and then they're all dead. They leave their guns lying around. This thing flies down from the sky. It's called the grinder.
Mm-hmm.
And what you do is you walk up to the grinder, and it magnetically sucks all the guns in, and then spits out like currency.
Oh, okay.
When the currency is called karma, but that's experience points. And then if you have enough guns, it'll chow them all down, spit out your experience points, and then it has a chance of spitting out like a gun with higher stats and they only last for a certain amount of time. But
That's cool.
higher stats, more ammo, so you can use that like a special version of a gun you've found already.
I didn't realize this game was this actiony. Like you're fucking moving here, or you were moving during that boss fight.
Well, that's my style, man. I love it. I when I played Hotline Miami, I didn't play anybody but Tony.
Oh,
Tony
the
with
melee guy.
with the fists of death. Yep.
Yeah.
I would just walk around, fa, and that's how I played this game, and I had a fucking blast.
Huh.
Because you have to aim a lot less
Yeah.
with melee.
It sounds like you both recommend this game then. Is that safe to
Totally.
say?
Yeah, it's a fun game. Yeah, I had a good time with it. I still haven't beaten it.
Yeah, $20 on Steam. I would assume this is probably on consoles as well. Maybe it is not, but I would assume it is. That's an assumption. Look it up. How many bosses are there? You said it took 9 or 11 hours or something like that. Is it?
11 hours on hard.
Okay.
They're pretty. Some of the bosses are pretty goddamn hard. But once you figure out there's a few skills that work on a lot of bosses. Once you kind of figure out which ones do what, the game becomes challenging, but not pull your hair out.
Cool.
And how many? I think there's, I want to say 10 levels.
Yeah. Sounds like another good one.
Something like that.
Who made this game, by the way? Is this a known company or?
It was published by Devolver.
Okay, publisher. It's Devolver.
Yeah.
But
it was made by Rycon Games.
Rycon Games.
REI, yeah, REIKON Games.
Okay.
And this is their only game on Steam.
Cool. Well, it sounds like another good, cheap, not full price game that people could pick up. I think there's been a lot of those. Co, you were playing one that you've been talking about a lot, or at least that I've heard the name a lot today. What's it? Starts with an F. Frost something or other. What is that?
Frostpunk.
Yeah. What is that game?
Oh yeah.
Yes. Okay. Frostpunk is awesome. It's by the makers of This War of Mine. And what it is it's essentially a more technologically current dystopian Banished.
Yeah.
That has a lot of those real social elements that make you think and have no good options from This War of Mine. The premise is that the world has undergone a disaster, an ice-based disaster. Everything is frozen over, and the entire southern hemisphere of the planet is gone. Essentially, it's completely frozen, and most of the people have migrated north and surrounded these things called what they call generators, which are these giant cylindrical Mako reactor type things that run on coal that supply heat to the area. When the game starts, you are literally 70 people huddled around a broken generator. So the first thing you have to do is send out your workers. You have to assign workers to coal piles, metal piles, wood piles. They have to go out. They have to collect the resources, bring them back. Then you have to start building in a ring around the outside, because that's how you build. You have to start building like tents, houses, hunting blinds. So they'll send out hunters to get food, medical tents, cooking areas because you have to cook the food. And while you're doing this, not only are you trying to balance all the different resources that you're getting, but all sorts of random bad stuff starts happening. Temperature fluctuations cause all sorts of issues. You have to manage a generator and its fuel. People start getting sick. All of a sudden, random events start popping up. Do you want children to work or do you not want them to work? Hey, this guy just died. Do you want to burn him and piss people off and not do anything?
Damn.
Or do you want to build a cemetery? Hey, this dude has a disease that we can't do anything about. Should we just let him sit here and hope one day that we do? Or should I try some stuff on him? Maybe it'll work. Maybe it'll cripple him. You decide. So it's real brutal, and it starts getting real brutal real early. And unfortunately, I'm only playing a demo right now, which lasts the first 10 days. So I've barely kind of scratched the surface about what you can really do in the game. But just from the little bit I've played, this game is going to be awesome.
Yeah,
this game is going to be really cool.
Their attention to detail is actually really amazing too. Like if you send people out to get to coal, you can see them start to make footprints into the snow, and then they keep crossing that path. There'll be a path there eventually. It's really neat.
Yeah,
all sorts of strategy involved. Keeping people hot enough to, like, if they get cold, then they start getting a higher chance of getting sick, and of course that can snowball. So choosing not only how to use your resources, but then where do you build heat sources? Do you want to build heat sources out by the places that they're working? How long do you want them to work? Do you need to do emergency shifts? Because that's different too. Like, there's all sorts of things that are happening in parallel that all kind of influence each other. No playthrough is going to be the same. At the, like, it's gonna get pretty nuts. And it becomes also, what's really interesting is you get these mini quests where different people in the town will be like, hey, I've been hungry for a day. I need you to do something about it. So at that point, if you say no, then if you look at the bottom of the screen, there are these two different levels of like hope and despair. And if your guys get all the way despair and they all lose hope, then the game, from what I understand, either just ends or terrible things start happening. So if you ignore these quests, then their despair starts going up and their hope starts going down. If you accept them, though, and then fail them, obviously it's a lot worse. But by accepting them, you put some hard guidelines around yourself. Like at one point, some guy was like, hey, I haven't eaten in a day, so help me out here. What are you going to do? At that point, I could get a quest to either feed everyone in 2 days. I could expedite it to get more hope by saying I'll feed everyone in a day, or I could decline it, and that's horrible too. So, and that happened like with almost not only with every resource, but like with the buildings as well. Like, hey, we have 6 people sick, but we can only tend to 5 of them. What are you going to do about it? So And of course, when one of
Political
those
decisions
pops up, you're working on something else at the time, and you're like, oh shit, I don't have the resources to deal with this. Well, let me just drop this, and start working on this. Let me reassign workers to get this done. Let me overdrive my reactor to heat everyone up so it makes them happy, even though it's gonna really screw that part up. So yeah, it's deep. Lot to do and a lot going on.
For whatever reason, I'm worried about the mental state of these devs, because this War of Mine was also a very depressing game. It sounds like this one is too. It's not lighthearted in any sense of the word.
Yeah, they're definitely kind of downers. Like, there's really no way. Like, there's not good things that happen in these games. When something happens, it's bad.
Sure.
Like every time. Like, oh, something happened. It sucks. You don't even need to read it. But the thing is, though, is that there's no, like, especially talking about this War of Mine, there are very few games that get that real.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes that's just how it is. And having games that you can play where it's like, hey, this is a shitty situation. Everyone around these people are dead. They don't even know if this generator is going to start working. Like, this is a shit situation. Yeah. So, kind of working off that from a realistic standpoint, not a lot like it. Unique and very fun.
Isn't in this game specifically, aren't you playing the last of humanity? Literally, like your settlement is it?
It hints at that. I'm not exactly sure. It does mention that the generator project was designed to save humanity, and you are huddled around the generator. But it also at one point makes it sound like there's other generators, and you can also put up a beacon to attract survivors. So I don't know where they're coming from. So I think the lore is probably something you'll discover throughout the game, because even in the 10 days that I played, there were little bits that would kind of divulge more about what was going on. So that may be part of the story, where you kind of, maybe the end goal of the game is to, eventually find other generator towns or something. I have no idea yet. I didn't get enough info.
You said it was 10 turns, or how did you phrase it? 10
days.
What?
Days. There's a day-night cycle. Okay. And actually that affects a lot in the game and how you manage the different times and who's doing what at when. And you get 10 days before basically the demo ends. If you go to any cons right now and you see Frostpunk, you play what I played.
Okay. So if it's at a con, like 10 days equals what in real time, would you say?
20 to 40 minutes, I'd say, depending on how much you pause and really think about it. Yeah. I played twice in an hour about.
The Steam says to be announced. Someone in chat saying Q1 2018.
Yes.
You can confirm that? Okay, cool.
That's what I've heard. I've heard Q1 2018 too.
Okay, gotcha.
I gotta say, it plays like a finished product. Like, it didn't hang up. It ran great. Everything worked. There were very few bugs. It plays really well.
I thought you said it plays like a Finnish product, and I'm like, okay. I don't know what that means.
Well, it had some Dutch influence and a little bit of a taste of Sweden.
We should start talking about games like they're fine wines. There's notes
it had a fine bouquet.
Yeah.
But
yeah, we should start doing that. Well, that looks cool. Zeke, what about you? I know you've been obviously Indie Sunday stuff. I think we've got 2 of them to talk about. We may not get to them all today because we're kind of jam packed with games, but I saw you're playing Morph Girl. What is Morph Girl?
Oh, God.
Is it not a good one? Should we skip that one?
No, it was just a huge disappointment.
Oh, that sucks.
Here's the thing.
Okay.
It was, I bought it because it was like new FMV game. I mean, newish, came out in August, 1st of August or something like that. And it's just a really depressing and frankly boring story. There's not a lot of good things in the game. It's about love and loss, and they try to throw in some creepy ring, the ring elements.
Hey, it's the ring,
like with
right
a ghost that comes back and blah blah blah. But honestly, I don't have much to say about it because it wasn't very good. It wasn't very good.
Okay.
Right. Live, like a Her Story kind of thing.
No, that's a game. This is barely a game.
You just kind of watch a lot of FMVs?
There's like 8-9 choices you make in the game that affect the endings, and the endings are just text. It says, so this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened. Try and find all 6 endings, and I went, nah.
Quick and easy. Quick and easy. I'm
not going to do that. I'm not going to do that.
Well, you definitely changed it up at the end of this broadcast, so was this any good? What the hell is this?
Hob?
H-O-B?
Hob. H-O-B, Hob, by the makers of Torchlight.
Oh, right? Shit, okay. I'm in.
This game was fantastic. It is, it plays a lot like Zelda. It's an action adventure with you sword, fist, you get a shield, all this kind of stuff. You power up, you find power ups. A lot of puzzling. It's definitely got some. It's like you are on this like mechanical island, and you have to power up stuff, move buildings around, get gears power so they turn this like gear so this tower can raise so you can get in there and all this kind of stuff. There's a lot of puzzly platformy elements. One thing I will say, okay, this game has a lot of great things going for it.
Whoa.
But there is some artificial difficulty in that you can't change the camera angle. The camera angle, jumping from platform to platform, will fuck you because of
The fixed
depth
camera
perception.
Yeah.
Because it looks like you're jumping diagonally, but you're not. But that's not where the platform is. So, pardon me. A lot of times you'll fall to your death because you think it's one place and it's not that place.
Okay.
It's not horrible. It's not like a deal breaker by any means. It's just fucking annoying when you have to do a jump a few times because the angle looks fucking weird.
Yeah. Makes sense.
But the action is satisfying. I do wish there was a little bit more enemy action. A lot of it's a lot of exploring and a lot of like figuring out where to go, what puzzles to do, or what like switches to hit, yada yada yada. But gorgeous game, great sound design, satisfying action. Played it on controller, played really well. It's got a good feeling to it too. Another thing that I really liked about it is they don't explain much of anything. And there's no words. There's no like.
Is there a story?
Kind of, yeah. You come up with it though, kind of. You kind of have to fill in the blanks.
Yeah. Okay.
Is that a fair assessment, Co?
I'd say so. Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
It's one of those stories that is presented to you outside of words and talking. It's presented to you in the game world, in the events, in the characters that you meet and see and how they act. And there are these things called lore rooms that kind of give little hints via pictograms, but it's very ambiguous. So, and I think it'll probably be one of those things that'll make more sense when you get to the end. I'm only about 5 hours in myself. But yeah, I'd say that's a perfectly fair assessment.
Okay.
And I like that. I like when games are able to not give you any sort of text story. They just give you characters and actions and emotions, and you kind of have to infer what's going on. I like that. I like that they kind of leave it up to you. You start off with this. Well, you have this huge left arm that you can see, kind of.
Yep.
You start off fine. This is all in the beginning, so I'm not spoiling anything. You start off fine, and you have a robot buddy, and something happens to your arm, and he gives you his.
In a very cool
it's
scene.
like it's kind of touching, you know. Yeah. And then you have this huge robot arm that you're like, what can I do with this? Oh yeah, you bet you can punch enemies to pieces.
What Zeke? Did you end up beating this or no? Because Co said he was about 5 hours in. Okay.
No, I didn't beat it. It seems like it's a big game. I think I might have like 8 to 10 hours in it. Yeah, see, you punch him into pieces.
Exploded.
That guy exploded.
Kapow, sir.
Yeah, totally. I had to resist the urge to say Falcon Punch like every time.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, man. Like this game really surprised me. It was just like Battle Chasers, a game that somebody kind of asked about a day or two before, and I was like, I hadn't really heard of it. Not a lot of hype behind it. Not a lot of people asking me about it. And I was like, but we'll give it a try. And sure enough, after the first 3 or 4 hours that I played it the first day, I need to be careful how I say this because this is not going to be a popular opinion. I like this game better than Zelda.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, I do. I found
That's
the
a
world
weird
more
thing to
engaging.
compare it to, though. It's like saying, like, man, I really like Die Hard better than Pirates of the Caribbean.
Is it? I mean, you
To
don't
me,
see the
I don't know.
similarities?
They're both games, so I guess you can compare whatever the fuck you want to compare.
Zelda. I see old Zelda, but not the new one.
Yeah, I think that's what you're
old
comparing
Zelda.
it to, though.
Really? You don't?
Yeah, I don't see it. It doesn't look like it compares well to the Breath of Wild or whatever it's called. It looks like older Zeldas to me.
Okay.
Well, I mean,
Teach
it
their
looks
own.
like it has a top-down style.
I'm with
Zelda's
Burke here,
like
but
third person.
I thought they felt very similar.
They might play very similar. Like I can't
Yeah.
get that emotion from watching a video.
Yeah.
Obviously, yeah.
Yeah, I felt they felt very similar, but I just found myself at the end of my 5 hours in this just really enjoying it. Especially like the world and the way that they present it, especially the way, and I'm not going to spoil it, but especially the way that they unlock and present new areas is really interesting and made me really want to know what the hell is going on in this world. Also, you get to a point where you start meeting some interesting things start happening that make you kind of wonder, like, what is that? What's going on? Why is that going on there? And I never really got that feeling in Zelda, because Zelda, it was a fun game and everything, but you knew how it was going to end.
Well, you knew Zelda.
It's a Zelda game, so
Zelda.
it was fun to play a game like this and kind of have that kind of mystery come back, where you really didn't know what direction they were going to go with it or what was going to happen next, and especially from the event at the beginning, where, let's face it, it wasn't super happy. It was a little bit dark. Like there's a chance that this could get a little bit different for this kind of game. Factor in all the different upgrades you can do and the special moves you can get and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I had a great time in Hob. I'll probably end up finishing it eventually. I don't know when, with all the other stuff going on right now, but it's a really fun game.
That's the problem. It's a good problem to have these days. Is that
it is? It's a rare one.
So many games on deck.
Yeah. It is a rare one indeed. Well, cool. This is 1999. It's fully out, right? It's out. It's not early access. It's done. Okay, yeah.
Yep. And shout out to the guys from fucking, I forgot the
Runic
development.
Games.
Runic, thank you. Shout out to the guys from Runic for giving me keys to give away, which I gave away in the chat.
Hashtag ad.
Hashtag ad.
Yeah. Also, for those wondering why
I had that in my stream time.
For those wondering why we're not having an
Hashtag
actual,
I got this game for free.
For those wondering why we're not actually having a discussion about hashtag ad, is because why? It's pointless. We're not the government.
Dude, first time happened last week, and it has now happened multiple times since. I'm turning down games that are offered to me.
Same here. Yeah, I think that's gonna happen.
Like,
more
hey,
than
do you want
often.
this free copy of this? No, but thanks for letting me know about that game. I'm gonna go buy it.
Yep.
Thanks for the heads up.
Yep, I think you're gonna see more and more people do that for sure. I did that with Cuphead. I did that with Battle Chasers. I did that with a bunch of games for sure. Because it's, man, the idea of putting hashtag ad in your stream title discredits so much before people even check you out. It is a weird thing, but
hashtag ad denotes that someone is compensating you enough to represent them.
They need to change
a free
it.
copy is not worth hashtag ad.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy to think that's something
I agree.
It's that whole situation.
Well, I mean, just to try and give it a perspective. If someone was sitting at name a t-shirt place and said, "Hey, we like you. We know that you're pretty popular on your platform of choice. Here's a free t-shirt, and that's all we sell is t-shirt, but here's a free t-shirt for you. Do I have to disclose that I got this shirt for free from this shirt maker? Because I know why they're giving me the shirt. They're giving me the shirt, so I will wear it and show people that I am wearing it."
Exactly, yeah. Especially if you put it on your platform, yeah. It's a weird thing, man. I feel bad whoever's running that.
I've noticed, just real quick, there's a lot of people in chat that have no idea what we're talking
about. They don't,
right now.
yeah.
Do you want to just give a little brief thing?
About a week.
The FTC got mad at us.
Yeah, I think about 2 weeks ago. I don't know how long ago it was. It was right around the time that the rulings came out for the T. Martin and whoever the other syndicate stuff was. Right around the time that their ruling for the CSGO Lotto crap was out and published. The idea of anytime a person in our industry is given a game code, not necessarily there could be zero money exchanged between the two entities. They have to disclose that they were given that game for free. And the way that the FTC is saying that you must do this is by putting hashtag ad frequently and mentioning it frequently, both audibly and visually on your stream.
And the important thing to mention is the guidelines they set for receiving free copies are almost identical to the guidelines they've set to say when you're being paid to do this stuff.
Yeah.
So they've basically put us in a situation where we are being told by the company that basically decides if we can do this stuff, you need to obfuscate what you're doing. Like it's completely turned this on its head.
And what happened
for no reason. There's zero like.
Well, I think it was as a result of the T. Martin Syndicate stuff. They want to try to make sure that transparency is occurring, and that if someone is influenced to buy something, they must understand that this person was given the game for free. So that idea of being given the game might influence their thought of said game, or their critique, or their stream, or whatever of said game. I understand their part of it, but I think the practice of saying #ad is bad. It should be #free game or something like that.
And that's exactly. It's not that we shouldn't be disclosing that we're getting games for free. That I'm 1,000% okay with. It's the fact that they shunt the system into this one way we have to do it, and that one way we use for a variety of different things.
Yep.
So nobody knows if they drop into an ad stream. Is this guy getting paid thousands by this company to represent this product in a potentially favorable way, or did he get a $30 game for free?
Right. And there's a pretty big difference there.
It's kind of a big difference.
Yeah.
And a lot of the confusion came because they did this Twitter where they were answering questions and stuff, and they kept changing or adding to, like in real time, answering people. Like people would ask, "What do I have to do this?" And then like they're contradicting what they said like 5 posts ago.
Yeah.
So everybody's really confused. Like we want to comply, but what is the actual rule here?
And how
do we comply?
It's basically they've given us a switch. Instead of us having like a spectrum of different ways that we can say if we're doing something and being compensated for it, we have a switch. You are either not being sponsored or you are being sponsored. There are no multiple levels. And the thing that gets me frustrated about this is people were telling the FTC this. Like, guys, this isn't going to work. What you're doing is not going to work. This is not a system that will work in today's environment. And their answer was basically, this is how we're doing it. Deal with it. Like this is what we've done. This is how we're doing it, and it's not going to change.
I think the biggest hurdle and biggest issue for me was that the majority, if not all of this conversation, was over 140 character limit sentences on Twitter. Should not have fucking happened. And it was all in public. So you had streamers who were very vocal and very upset and not shying away from the fact that it's not a very good thing that the FTC is asking us to comply this way publicly. That's not good for anyone. It's not good for the streamer. It's not good for the FTC. It's not good for the people that potentially could be impacted by the streamer using #ad. That should never had been the way to deliver that message. But that's how it was delivered. And I don't know what was the result of all of that, if there even was a result, or if it was just, like you said, the FTC saying, hey, do it this way, or something might happen. That's the other thing, is that they never said, like, you're going to go to jail if you don't do this.
JP?
What's that?
They started dropping your frames, bud. Be careful.
We dropped 600. Unless Time Warner's still messing up. It looks like we're good.
That was, JP, what that's called is an FTC warning shot.
It's an FTC warning
that
shot.
Was only about. So.
No, we're still going.
I don't even think they know what Twitch is. Like, all their comments were about YouTube.
Yeah.
90% of the time, and talking about when you review the game, it's like, well, what if I don't do reviews? I don't do reviews. That's not my thing. Let more professional people do reviews. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
Right.
No, I don't know what, like, they're constantly.
There goes again. I told you, man.
Yeah, no, it's been going this entire time. I'm watching the numbers. I'll get it before chat does. At the end of the day, though, it's Time Warner being Time Warner. So some dog is in the backyard because some idiot couldn't fucking bury a cable because anyways.
I just love JP. Like, I know how frustrating that is, and I know your frustrated face when Coh's like, oh, there it goes again. He's like, yeah, I see it. Got it, Coh.
Yeah. I see the drop frames before anyone else does. Trust me. It's one of the most triggering things. If you're ever, for Zeke and Coh and Burke, if you ever want to hear a funny story, ask Aaron about the time right before the live show for Roleplay when Time Warner called me in the middle of a Walmart trip and how I lost my shit on the phone in the middle of Walmart in front of everyone. It was really good. You can ask her for that story, because my dramatic retelling of the story will not live up to hers by any means.
So you became Walmart.
I did, yeah. I actually became why people despise Walmart. Exactly. It was a pretty good one. So
JP became the person of Walmart.
exactly, I did. I'm going to show up on their Twitter. Stories will be told on the Reddit. It's going to be good. It's going to be good.
These entitled white guy millennials just in the middle of Walmart, thinking they own the place, talking about their internet. Oh no.
Yeah.
Suddenly a thong appears, like coming out of the back of his pants. It's like, how did that get there?
The
Walmart.
best part about all of it is the reason we were at Walmart is because we were buying a rug to go over a bunch of cables so that people didn't hit the cables and potentially mess up the cables or unplug stuff. So we're sitting just in the rug aisle, and I'm just literally screaming and saying the most obscene things into a phone while in the middle of Walmart, and it's great. It was good stuff. At the time, I was very hot-headed, but in retrospect, it was kind of funny. So hopefully the people around me saw it as funny. They probably didn't. They were probably like, we got to get the fuck out of here. This guy's going crazy.
This guy, crazy man.
Yeah.
You're
but
not a small man, JP.
I know.
You're
I
a
know.
large guy yelling obscenities into a phone, walking back.
I know. It was good times.
I'd move away.
Yeah. Aaron definitely did. Aaron, I'm gonna go over. I gotta go get some stuff. I'll be back. And I didn't see her for a while. But yeah, FTC stuff. I think that's a simplification of everything that happened, and it wasn't really resolved. So
yeah.
Hey, if they didn't fucking do anything to Tom and T. Martin, I think the rest of us are probably going to be okay. I don't think any of us are going to be going to jail because we didn't disclose that we got a free game when they did what they did. So let's move on. Coh, anything? Let's have 5 minutes with Coh and Divinity 2.
I can give it to you in 4 words.
5 minutes. No, I know what the 4 words are, though. We gotta expend those Game of the Year words into something about 5 to 10 minutes long.
I know what the 4 words are. Is it goatee, y'all motherfuckers?
Witcher 3 wanna beat. No, I'm just kidding. It's okay. I'll go ahead and start. Divinity 2 Original Sin is my Game of the Year. It was a phenomenal experience beginning to end. It was an extremely deep adventure. I ended the game in 117 hours, completing everything I could find on the hardest non-instant kill, non-permadeath difficulty, and had an absolute blast the entire time. The characters and story are second to none. The world and environment was fantastic. The main story has twists and turns. The entire last act is like a Hollywood movie in terms of the uncovers and what you learn. The voice acting was phenomenal. The personal quests were phenomenal. The skill system, I really kind of like how they reworked in this new magic and physical armor system. I didn't like it at first, ended up really enjoying it by the end. The way that they manage the new AP system is excellent. I seriously could just I could just go on over and over with this game. Is that 2 or 1 playing, JP?
How can you tell, Coh?
I can't because it's so small on my screen. But
no, this
there's
is Divinity 1 by accident, by the way.
Yeah, but it's now to be fair, they're visually Divinity 1 and Original Sin 1 and 2 look similar, but mechanically they are vastly different. Particularly, for instance, like that magic and physical armor system that I was talking about earlier. In Divinity, you cast rain on someone, they get wet. You cast an ice spell on them, they freeze. Cool, we're good. That's the first one. In the second one, every single character has physical and magic armor, and you can't do any type of effect that locks them down until you break through that armor. So it makes it so when you come up to a fight and there's a bunch of characters in front of you, it's an entirely different situation. There's no CCing. You have to break through a barrier of some kind to even begin to consider CCing and hope that they don't do the same to you. But yeah, it completely changed the way that you play the game. But on top of that, they pretty much reworked most, if not all, of the skills systems in the game.
Okay.
And the skill lines. They removed some, they added some, changed it around to kind of work with the new system. And overall, it really flowed together well. And I went with the mainly physical party. I want to play it again someday with an evil party, and also do the other origin characters because they're like an entire main story in themselves, and there's 6 of them.
Oh wow!
And yeah, I had a great time with it. I'm waiting for reasons to play it again, be it DLCs, expansions, a third one. It was a phenomenal experience. It is an RPG that I put in terms of what it is, and it's easily one of the best CRPGs I've ever played. In terms of just how it made me feel when I was done, it's not there, but it is definitely close to Witcher 3, and one of the closest games to that in recent memory.
Cool. I know
Hopefully
that.
that's in under time.
And it's fully voiced,
no, you were
too.
good.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fully
voiced.
voiced, man.
Does that change it? Is that a game changer for you?
Oh, complete game changer.
It was for me.
And here's
too.
the thing: not only is it fully voiced, but the large majority of that is really good. Like really, really top tier. Not only voice acting, but vocabulary and diction and just the writing itself. I mean, it is completely next level compared to some of the games that I've been playing recently. It's on a different tier in terms of just kind of how it's presented and put.
Yeah. Burke, did you play Divinity?
I got through Act 1 before Warhammer 2 dropped. And then I was like, I'll never finish it now because I got to go through. I'm going to go playing
That's
like
probably
almost,
my issue with this game too. Is it's
it's
big. It's the Witcher 3 effect of the game being so fucking big and so much that 1, I'm intimidated by it, and 2, I know I will never finish it.
It's just so long, and
it's huge.
I think I invested like maybe almost 40 hours on Act 1 alone. So
I think that's
like
about
4
normal
nights
too.
Streaming. So gosh, dang, it's so in depth, but it's very enjoyable. Like Ko said, like it's so rewarding as you play it. It rewards you. It's like kind of like Dark Souls. You know, like learning the boss and then finally getting it down and it feels good. This has a lot of feel good moments to it.
Yeah.
One thing I gotta say, and this blew me away. Once you get past level 15, the leveling really slows down. But what they do to counteract that is every level of gear past 15 is basically like a new expansion in an MMO. If you have a pair of level 15 gauntlets and you get a pair of level 16 gauntlets, it's going to have like 30% more stats than before.
Okay.
And then the next level is going to be like 50% more stats than that.
Crazy.
And by the time you get to end game gear, like my level 15 shield, I think had just under 1,000 protection. My level 21 shield had 4,200 protection, which was almost more than the entire protection of my tank at level 15.
Cool.
And it's crazy because it makes it so like every time you get a level, the first thing you do is like, I need to go to every vendor and see if they have new level stuff. And it actually gave like this really good reason to spend all of the gold you had. And for me as a hoarder and a completionist, this was one of the first RPGs ever where my entire end game was make a bunch of money, spend a bunch of money, make a bunch of money, spend a bunch of money.
Yeah.
I was not until the very end of the game, the very end, did I ever get to a point where I was just so rich I didn't know what to do with it. And that's almost every RPG I play. You just get to that point at the end of the game where you're like, there's no purpose for money. There's nothing I can buy that would help me. Never felt that way in this game. Never. As long as there were vendors and as long as I could still get experience, I had a path for progression that would drain every penny that I had. And I would sell everything that I'd get, had a high barter character, and still would get out of money frequently. So that was awesome.
I think it's important to also bring up that this game has a sick DM mode.
Yeah.
And multiplayer and mods. I didn't even touch the mod scene. And apparently the mods coming out for it are fantastic.
Yeah, I know Strippin's Strippin's in like 3 different co-op campaigns of the game. And one of them, they're actually doing an all undead crew. So he can't really go into cities, and he's like trying to find someone to trade with and hasn't done that yet. And they're like 20 or 30 hours into the game.
Wow.
Isn't he like super proud too? He won't wear a mask or something?
Yeah, no, they won't wear masks. So like he can't interact with anyone because he's undead and no one will talk to him, I think is the big issue. But he's like they're going like full RP. They're like voicing it and everything. And so he's having a lot of fun doing that type of stuff. So it seems like there's just a lot of different ways to experience Divinity 2. I know I don't want to speak for Adam, but Adam Coble did look at the DM mode, and his stuff is up on YouTube. I think the short of it is or was you are basically doing what the game developers did in terms of creating levels, and it takes a very long time to create stuff. Like,
you know what?
10
he
plus hours.
Streamed some of it, and I dropped in when he was streaming it. I actually dropped in, I think, 2 or 3 different points in a longer stream he did of it.
Yeah.
And all the time I watched him, it was very clear, like, he had ideas he wanted to do, and he was fighting the system.
Yeah.
And that was unfortunate. And to be honest, I had never actually looked at DM mode. I would love DM mode to just click with Adam, because I'd love to see his creativity just flow into that system. But watching him use it, it's clunky.
Well,
Like, it was, he was trying to do basic things, and he was clicking on buttons that I too would have thought would have done what he was looking for, but it would just send him to completely different windows.
Yeah.
That would be way more complex than what he was looking for. And
I feel like the DM mode
there's some good tutorial videos. All this being said.
Oh, there is. Okay.
There's some great tutorial videos that you can watch, and I have not watched them.
Okay. I didn't know that. That's
so
cool.
maybe that would help, but I don't know. Also, something else I noticed. It would probably be really difficult to design a campaign in this game without understanding the fundamental combat mechanics.
That's also something else I was wondering about. Yeah, I feel like you have to experience the game first. Yeah.
At one point, he put down a mob, and he was like, okay, this is this level. What level should the player be to fight this? And he was kind of like, because like if you don't, and he was talking about like magic and physical armor and how that, what did that do? And it's kind of like, and even the questions he was asking, I didn't learn until 20 plus hours into my game.
Right.
So, I don't know. It's a little bit of a weird situation.
It makes sense for sure. I think one cool thing that I did see on the, funny enough, on the Path of Exile subreddit is someone had recreated the entire world of Path of Exile in terms of all the different zones that you go to within Divinity 2. And they were making basically like a story of Path of Exile within Divinity 2. And so it seems like it's pretty expansive, but I think the caveat was that it was already like 50 to 60 hours invested in doing so. So it seems if you're going to make something like that, you might as well be making a game within a game at that point.
Well, it's almost like it's a mod tool. Like you're making a pretty expansive mod at that point. And again, just from the small bit I saw on Adam's stream, the detail and the amount that you can do in it is pretty insane. So to do all that, obviously you need to understand all of that stuff. So
yeah,
I don't know, man. It seems like it'd be a heavy investment, but man, I'm really looking forward to seeing what people come up with this.
Well, Strippin just said real quick in the chat, said he's doing DM mode tomorrow with Jesse Cox and the official DM mode dev from Larian Studios with the Dungeon Master at noon if you want to see his potential.
Hell yeah, Strippin. Is that on his channel?
Yeah, it's
awesome.
twitch.tv/Strippin for sure. Sorry, I cut you off, Burke. What were you gonna say?
I was saying it's good. It's gonna be exciting to see what the community creates from this, man. Like that's gonna be the joy of the whole thing.
Definitely.
Cool.
I think that could be. It seems like with as expansive as their game was, if you can create all of that and more in about 6 months, you're going to see some fucking crazy stuff come out of like the DM mode and the mods and all that stuff.
Oh,
for sure.
it's on the official channel.
Oh, okay, it's not on
which is
probably twitch.tv/Larian Studios.
Maybe.
Let's see.
Sounds right.
That is a channel that exists. Yeah, it is. It's branded and everything. So it looks like that's gonna be their stuff. Yeah.
I'm gonna toss them a follow.
Yeah.
Thank you, Strippin. That is awesome, dude. That's gonna be great.
Yeah. We'll see.
That'll be fun to watch.
We'll see. Well, cool. That's 10 minutes on Divinity Original Sin, and much better informed than what I was trying to pry out of Zeke, because Zeke only spent a fraction of time with this game.
That was.
It was a bad conversation
about that game. I'm glad you didn't include me in that conversation, because all that would have done would have been a turn chat against me.
Right.
I'm glad I didn't say anything. I had my mouth shut through that entire thing. All I really have to say about the game is maybe I'll have to give it another chance.
Yeah. Well, Strippin's down for a fourth campaign if you want to start one up. He's running so many games right now.
He's spread so thin.
Yeah. Let's kind of switch gears a little bit. Talk about Battlefront 2. I know me and Burke have checked it out. I don't think Coh's checked it out yet. And Zeke's in New York, so of course he hasn't done it. Battlefront 2 came out. I'm pretty cold on this game, right? I'm not it seems like Battlefront 1 to me, with a new coat of paint and a new coat of polish. But I know, Burke, you were enjoying it a lot, so I'll let you kind of talk about it first, and then I'll give my probably more negative critique first, or after that, rather.
Look, I'm easily pleased, man. You know, I could probably have some fun with some rocks being tossed together. I'm not really good at the critique stuff. I either like something or I won't pretty quick. But
sure.
Yeah, when they first announced it and they were like, you know, we're going to have 20 versus 20 combat, I was like, oh, gosh, why are you going backwards? Where's my 64 versus 64 massive mayhem? But now that I've actually played the 20 versus 20, I felt like how the map has been designed and how the play is everything, I'm not turned off by it at all. It felt like we were constantly in battle with somebody. The environment is just alive with civilians running for cover and birds flying away.
That's
and
one thing I can get behind, dude. This engine.
It's really detailed.
Man,
like I felt like I was really invading a city, like a Theed, you know? It was really sweet. So, you know, this is the first map. I did some of the assault stuff, which was it's The Force Awakens. Is
yes,
Maz Makani or whatever her name is.
Maz's Cafe alien. Or whatever the fuck it's called. Yeah.
So that's more like a go in there and grab this and secure it kind of thing. And that was pretty interestingly done as well, like really packed and lots of action. And then I did space, and space just that, you know, if this game sells on at all, it's gonna be on that freaking space battles are just disgusting.
Oh God,
they are so good, leaps and bounds to what it used to be.
That was my favorite thing, was the space battle. I guess Twitch VODs are fucked up right now, so I can't. Let me go to your VOD, see if that's working. Yeah, the space battle stuff was... I watched you jump into the space battle at the same time that I jumped into this, or after my stream was over this morning, and we both had very similar reactions where it was... They kind of show you your ship... You don't see much behind you. It's space. It's a black expanse. Mm-hmm. And they pan you around, and you see kind of everything you're flying to, and you're just like, oh, my God. Like, yeah. That is fucking jaw-droppingly gorgeous.
They killed it with the space. I mean, like, they definitely captured the Star Wars experience within the space aspect of it.
Here's a little bit of Burke playing through that. I didn't understand. I only played the space stuff, and I only played the game for about 2 hours. This morning. What is the goal here? Are you trying to get inside and destroy like a power reactor? Did you get any of that figured out? Did you spend a lot of time? Okay. Explain it.
There's a series of objectives that I think you're trying to blow up this Death Star, or not Death Star, a Star Destroyer, and they're trying to take out your blockade runner or something. So you had to go through like different steps of going through, like you had to cut out the power relays, which you got to go in flying inside, I think, the space station and blow up the generators in there. And then you have to go and attack these couplings that are protecting the Star Destroyer. And then once those are gone, you go underneath and you hit the reactor, and then, you win from that.
This is so good looking though, man.
Yeah. There's a lot of moments where you got to fly into a tunnel inside the space station and see, it was like Return of the Jedi scene where they fly inside the Death Star. There's a lot of moments of that. So really fast, really tense, and I crashed so many times.
Yeah,
but it was great, man. It's fast paced, it's actiony, it's Star Wars.
It is. I think that's probably the best way. If you are a Star Wars fan, regardless of how the actual game functions and works and the mechanics of all that, they did a really good job making sure that Star Wars fans will enjoy this game.
It's cinematic.
Yeah.
It's very cinematic.
Yeah.
Everything was objective based when we were doing the 20 versus 20, like the big, robot thing was coming down street, and you had to get the ion cannons to bring it down and stuff. So it was really solid.
This is some footage from the, what do they call it? Strike mode?
Assault.
I think
it's called, is it strike or assault?
I don't know.
Maybe assault's the class. It's strike is, you're right.
I think this is I believe it's 8v8. And you're basically, if you remember in Force Awakens, there was something in the basement that Rey finds, and they refer to it as the artifact within this mode. Yeah. And I believe that's what you're getting. So, like, if you're, again, a Star Wars fan and you know the lore, you're probably, like, having a fucking fanboy moment when you're like, oh, my God, this is... Han Solo was right there, and fucking John Boyega was outside fighting the stormtrooper with that type of stuff. But with all that said, mechanically, I feel like everything that happened with Battlefront 1, where I played it for 3 days and I was good, I feel like that's going to happen again, because it took me 30 minutes and I was good. Like I reached that really quickly. It seems a little bit shallow. They changed a lot of it. One of the things that you might have mentioned this already, but in the first game, in order to play Darth Vader or Luke Skywalker, any of the heroes, everyone would huddle around where their token spawns, and it was kind of a rush to grab it as fast as possible when it would pop. In this one, you accrue battle points over time through killing things and things like that, doing objectives, and then you can basically purchase an upgrade. I say purchase, but you can spend those points to get an upgrade spawn, whether that's a hero character. Yeah, it's a much better way of doing that. It is a little weird, though, when Darth Maul runs into a fight, dies, and then about 20 seconds later, another Darth Maul is like, "Hey, I'm back. Let's go. Let's fight." Like, it kind of broke. It broke the moment a little bit for me when Rey dies, and 30 seconds later, Rey's back, and let's go. I'm Rey. It's another Rey. It's a clone.
Immersion ruined.
Yeah, the immersion is kind of like, well, that's a little bit wonky.
Makes me wonder if they'll change that, like if that's something they'll keep or not, or if there'll be like a cooldown on certain heroes. Like I understand battle droids being constantly there,
and those are cool.
Like
I like
battle
that.
droids.
Yeah,
because you don't just in this one. It's not just unlocking the heroes like Vader, and Boba. You also have like special units this time as well, and special vehicles that you spend the points on. So I'm cool with those reoccurring, but maybe they're like a cooldown for like Vader and Maul and Rey and stuff would be a necessary addition. And
we should also note that's also how it works for the vehicles. So on this Naboo map, you can spawn as whatever the different, I forget the name of the ships, that can basically fly around. So it's exactly the same as it works for heroes as well for other stuff. And I think there's also, you can spawn as a walker when you're outside here. I never got a chance to do that in one of the vehicles.
Each faction has its own vehicles, so like they've got the walker. You can see it there by my head.
Yeah. I'm really upset that that's not Chewbacca. They call it a Wookiee warrior. It's literally Chewbacca, but it's a Wookiee warrior. So
didn't Chewbacca die in the series though, like in the books? And that's canon.
Yeah,
or
but that's dead. That's all wiped out now.
That's one of the things.
Oh, that's right. It's all gone.
It's all Disney style.
But
canon,
also,
which I'm happy with. It's got a little messy.
This game's not true to canon in the sense of Rey is fighting Darth Maul. They're jumping around nonstop in the timeline of Star Wars and throwing that all into one thing. Like Boba Fett's in here fighting Rey. And you can also have Darth Maul, and I forgot who is it Han? Is Han the other one that you can spawn?
Yeah, Han. Which I don't know if they're going to keep that. Like this may just be for the beta purpose only, because they only got 4 heroes. Yeah. So maybe the era-specific heroes will be, stuck in their era. So we'll see.
Maybe so. But yeah, some of the stuff that I wasn't the biggest fan of. One, you have to use Origin, and it's fucking we spent probably about 45 minutes with me, Sacriel, and Bikeman when we first booted up, trying to figure out how to fucking mute someone, because it doesn't work half the time. The option to mute doesn't even show up. There's nothing leading you to that. You can mute in the Origin overlay. It does nothing. There's no toggle slider for volume for voice within the game. You have to click on the top left, and maybe if you can actually see the people that you're grouped up with, you can click their name and click mute. Sometimes that doesn't happen, though. Sometimes you can't even see the people that you're grouped up with. Sometimes you can see them, but the mute button's not there. It's kind of all over the place. And that was a little bit concerning, being that it's a multiplayer game that you're supposed to play with friends and jump into the game. And no one's going to use the in-game voice because it sounds like shit compared to Discord. Most people are using a third-party client to talk with in these games. Make it easy to find that shit in the options. Like, just add that in there. It seems like it was probably the console versions of these games running on the PC, and I'm hoping that when it comes out on PC, all that stuff is fixed. The FOV thing is locked at 55 on the PC. There's no way to manipulate it. It's locked. It's grayed out. I don't know if that's going to be opened up and freed. It's there. You just can't manipulate the slider at all.
Hope it's a beta thing.
Yeah, that was a little bit unfortunate.
Feel that?
Well, you can swap to third person, and you can shoot over the shoulder in a lot of stuff. So don't worry about this, by the way, Burke. Don't get nervous. This happens to Zeke all the time. Zeke goes full screen. He's fucking putting on his Viking helmet and all that stuff. It's not a big deal. Sometimes Takarilla shows up. It's a thing. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it would be like to up the FOV because I can't, so I can't. I don't know if I can answer that question if it's going to be better with higher FOV. One thing that this again is very specific to me, but there's no boundary on full screen. So for me, since I have two monitors or a monitor on the right side of my screen connected to my main monitor, anytime I would go too far on the right side, the mouse would go outside the window of the game. I would click and it alt tabs me. And that happened probably about 20 times in the heat of battle, and it would just alt tab. And so at that point, it's almost unplayable for me to even bother with it.
My chat was tearing me apart over the frames because I was playing in full screen mode.
Yeah.
But once I went to borderless window, it apparently just went total crispness for them. I don't really notice the frames per second as well as other people do because, like I said, I don't get into the technical aspects of games as well as just it's amazing. So
totally.
I would try it on borderless, see if that helps you out better.
It might, yeah. I think I would lose G-Sync because full screen. You got to be full screen for G-Sync to kind of work.
Yeah.
But again, this is all like very first nerd world problem.
Yeah,
most people
exactly.
don't have monitors like that, and it's they're going to be running it on a single monitor. That being said, you playing another game on the Frostbite engine makes me wish that every fucking game that I played for the rest of time was on this engine because it is
gorgeous.
So gorgeous and so well optimized. Like I look at this and I go look at PUBG and I'm just like, man, not only did Epic fucking steal your game on their engine, you got to use their shitty engine and not use this engine because it looks so good on this. And it runs like I was running 1440p, Ultra on everything, 4K downscaled and getting like 100 FPS. Like no problem. And I wish that was true for every other game. Like it's the best
engine.
Yeah. It's really fucking good. I'm trying to they have classes in this. I don't think they had classes in the first one. They had different guns. I honestly can't remember that far back, Burke, if you can clarify that at all.
Yeah, last time it was some kind of weird like card system or something. You had to swap that stuff in and out based on what you wanted.
Yeah.
Now they're doing like Battlefield 1 style where it's just, you choose a class. They still have a card system and some kind of loot crates. I don't know exactly what those are going to be about yet, but
yeah, they're going loot
I guess it's going to be some kind of microtransaction thing.
Well,
I don't know.
You can use the points that you earn in game to open crates, and I think they're going to probably sell it.
Yeah, they're probably going to sell something.
And that's stuff like I opened a box and got like a different skin for Rey. It was like her Jedi training thing from the upcoming movie outfit that's in the beta.
Is it all cosmetic, or does it look like some of it's going to be like increasing your gun fire rate or something by 0.5?
I definitely got different guns. I don't know if those guns are one-time use or how they work. I didn't spend enough time with it to answer that question.
Wasn't there some argument when they debuted the system originally about pay to win, and they were saying that like you could just buy a bunch of packs and get a bunch of really good weapons? And
honestly,
is that not this game?
I can't remember because that happens with so many games these days that they all kind of mesh together. So I don't know if that was this game or not. I do know that anytime a thing pops up where like Forza, it's happening with Forza right now, Shadow Mordor, it already has been a big conversation. That's always going to be a big conversation around this stuff. So if it's not happening already, and that is the case, I'm sure that conversation will start in the next couple of days when people, right now this is only open for people that pre-order. I think this weekend on the 6th or 7th, it opens up to anyone to download for free on Origin for the beta. So
the internet will let us know.
Yeah, the internet will let us know for sure. Someone in the chat saying classes and heroes will be behind the crates as well. So I don't know if that's the only way to unlock that stuff or not. If so, that's kind of crappy. But I can't speak to that stuff 100% at the moment. So
man, getting really bold with the $60 price tag plus microtransaction stuff now, aren't they?
Man, if you want to see a shitstorm happening in real time, go look at some of the Forza 7 stuff that's happening, because they literally took a core part of the game, removed it, brought it back, and now you have to pay for it.
What part?
I don't know enough about the entire thing to speak intelligently about it, but I think it's like the car upgrade parts, like certain upgrades to the cars are behind a paywall now that you can randomly get. I'm not in certain cars as well. I'm not too sure, but I know there's a lot of conversations happening about it right now that people are pretty upset about. So, yeah, I don't like that games are going that route. It's kind of shitty.
See, I don't mind DLC when it's like, a separate thing that they're adding to the game. But like this is, when you got it, it's almost like gambling. Like I'm hoping that I get my class that I want to play.
Yeah,
it's an entirely different thing when it all gets released at the same time and you pay $60 for a product. And then you have to pay additional money to get what should have been in the product already.
Yeah.
Like it's the same premise as day one DLC.
Yeah.
It's like
it's worse.
Why is it not just in the game?
Yeah.
Like, it's worse than day one DLC, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like if that's true, like some heroes and stuff are behind a loot crate, then that's like they're already in the game and I can't access them unless I gamble for a chance to get it.
Yeah, that's shitty. Without a doubt, that's shitty.
And the worst part is, looking back all this time right now, we're just the guinea pigs.
Yeah.
Well, all we are is the guinea pigs. Companies are trying all these different methods of making money off us, and they're seeing what works. And in the future, it's probably going to be a lot worse. And they're going to look back at now and be like, it's because these morons kept buying the shit.
Yeah.
Someone in chat brings up a point saying DLC for Battlefront 2 will be completely free because they have microtransactions now. So that's like I guess a give for the takeaway of other stuff. I guess that might kind of soothe that. That might be the argument is like, hey, we're giving away DLCs
tickets
for free.
to play on the new DLC maps in crates.
Yeah, right. Only unlockable through DLC crates. Yeah.
I mean, maybe we're overreacting. We'll see. I mean, when it hits live, it might be different. But
I really hope that they take. Usually, when this stuff happens, the betas are basically just marketing now. But I hope that they take feedback from people playing the game and actually change stuff.
Yeah.
But being that it's a game on a really good engine that looks gorgeous and it has Star Wars attached to it, it's probably going to sell fucking incredible anyways, especially with the movie coming out this year. And they're probably going to have some story stuff tied to that. One thing that we didn't get to try in the beta that they have like a trailer for is the story stuff of Battlefront 2, which actually looks pretty fun and cool.
I am play as the Empire. Very, very interested to know the length of that.
Yeah, same here. It'll probably be a couple hours. I don't think it's going to be that long.
That's what I've heard. I've heard that it's basically a feature length movie in single player game format. And if that's true, then it's like,
but if it's good, like Titanfall 2 did a really good job, man. Like we love Titanfall 2's story. It just
Battlefield 1 story was pretty decent too. Like,
I mean, I guess it's good enough. If it's good enough.
Yeah, you're right, Burke.
We'll see.
We'll see.
I just hope that they stick with the Empire. I want them to not do like some
kind of
redemption. Oh, she sees how evil the Empire is.
I think you're gonna. From the thing in the game right now, you can like watch the trailer or watch like a teaser or whatever, and it's I forget the character's name. I want to say the actress's name is Janina or something like that. I don't know her off the top of my head. She's sitting there talking to like some commander. They said that the Emperor is dead, and they have like an Emperor robot, which is something from the books, which is kind of a cool storyline that people that follow the books know. He comes out and like it's the Emperor's face on this red robot thing, and as she's walking away, you can kind of see like a look of like that's really fucking evil and dark. I don't know what's happening, so I hope it's not like a redemption story of someone from the Empire turning good, because that's been told. I just want a fucking badass Empire chick that kills everyone.
Full-blown Empire. Yeah, let's do it, man.
That's what I want to play.
Do it.
Because it's not something you get to see too often for sure. But we'll see. I'm not itching to play the game any more than I already have, and I only spent about an hour and a half with it this morning. I'll probably just wait for release because I guess what's in the beta for those people looking to download it this weekend, there's this map. There's the battle on Naboo. This is 8v8, which is kind of a little bit more objective base. There's the Naboo map, which is 20 versus 20, the Galactic Conquest. Is that right, Burke? I think the name of it is Galactic Conquest. And that's kind of like, if you remember the Endor map, or no, whatever the Frozen map
Hoth
was.
One.
Yeah, the Hoth map. Yeah,
it's a lot like that. Like you got the starfighters above, you got the tanks below, and they all kind of mesh together. So But yeah, I would say like if you liked the last one, this is gonna be an easy buy for you. If you're a Star Wars fan, you're gonna buy it. Don't kid yourself. You know you will. So the other
Perk sounded like an EA exec there.
you know you're gonna buy it.
He's not wrong.
It doesn't matter how much it is. Just give me your money.
He's not wrong.
Yeah, and but if you were kind of pissed off the last one, then this is just more of the same, man. You're not. It's not gonna make you. Nothing's different, really. It's just gonna piss you off again. So don't. I would steer clear.
Yeah. Yep. I pretty much agree, and I hope those issues, the FOV, like clicking outside the boundaries of the game, I hope that stuff is fixed. Because for people with multiple monitors, which I want to say is a lot of people that would play this game, it's really fucking annoying when you're in the heat of battle and it's just all tabs, or your shot doesn't go through, or you die. That stuff sucks. That's not fun. So yeah, that's out for free this weekend, unless you pre-ordered, which you can grab it this morning, or grab it right now. It's out. We got about probably 5 minutes till Co's got a hard departure time at 8, but we haven't talked too much about Indie Sunday. So,
and I'll tell you what,
okay.
I've got so much to go through.
Yeah.
Let's save it. We got okay. two Sundays worth of stuff, and another reason is people have been noticing that I like my.
Well, you're exhausted. Yeah.
I've been up for 24 plus hours because my flight this morning left at the time I normally go to sleep. So I didn't want to sleep and miss my flight, so I just stayed up because I get really nervous that I'll miss a fucking flight. So I stayed up and I've been up. So
yep.
He actually warned us before the show. He's
yeah.
like, guys,
yeah.
I'm gonna be real tired today.
Real groggy, yeah.
Yep. Well, we got.
So I got a massage, full release massage coming up in about an hour, and
nice.
Life's good.
Nice.
I will say one thing. Since we're wrapping up here,
sure.
But one game that everybody should check out, and I was talking to Co about this earlier, is Hell Let Loose.
What is that?
That is a brand new. Did you ever play Squad at all?
Yes.
Okay, it's that in a World War II setting.
We were showing this when we were talking to you in the beginning. We had this video footage stuff playing. I didn't know what I was like. Why is he showing videos of Call of Duty? But it looks a little bit crazier than Call of Duty.
So it's a realistic World War II shooter. It's going to have 100 people on a single map, and it also has, I think, like I don't know if any of you guys play Foxhole, which is those big.
I've heard the name.
It's not like true World War II, but it's like an offset. But anyway. Point is that you could spend the entire game not doing any fighting, but just doing supply runs for the army front. Like they literally have a front line, and so you go get the trucks and you get supplies and you race it back up there. It's gonna be pretty awesome. I mean, from anybody likes historical war games with realism, man, this is what's gonna be one to watch. Plus, it's getting funded ridiculously fast.
Yeah, it's on Kickstarter. Let's see.
Yeah.
It is at. Oh my god. Yeah, it's already funded.
It's already funded, yeah.
106,000 goal, 110, yeah. 25 days ago. I think me and
Bike both backed this already. So.
Yeah, I saw this and I was like, oh, it's a Bikeman game.
Yeah.
Like he definitely has the games that fit his style for sure. Yeah, that looks cool. Obviously, we'll see what happens. It's still Kickstarter stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
This is like pretty much the game right there. What you're saying, like they did a little alpha test for it, and it's just a group of people been in there. Very, very tense, because of all the covering fire and everything. It's not Call of Duty. If you get killed, you're way back in the back,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see if there's any new stuff. Co, by the way, have you checked out the No Clip documentary on Witcher?
Not yet.
Okay.
I need to.
Yeah, I know that.
It's on my short list.
I'm sure you're probably getting people
spamming
you nonstop about that. So that stuff is out from No Clip. I think Danny's going to try it. He's actually moving across the country pretty soon. But then we'll probably get him on the show to talk about what's going on with No Clip and all that stuff that he's been doing. He's doing an 8-part video series or some crazy shit on The Witcher, and it's a one-man editing job. Apparently, Jesus, that's a lot. I don't think there's really any news in terms of anything else. Just cliff notes that I've been playing. Still Path of Exile. I went back into Overwatch on a whim, and I have no idea why. But it's kind of still a fun game. And so I've been playing that, actually, the past couple weeks.
You talk about Overwatch, like someone who
Oh, it's an addiction.
hasn't had fast food in a while goes like, fucking McDonald's French fries, dude. They're fucking still good, man.
Yes.
Oh, JP, a little bit of news.
Yep.
Neo comes to PC next
I
month.
saw that. Yeah. Are you gonna play it again? There's a lot coming out next month.
There's after the October rush. There's not a lot of major releases until the end of the year.
Yeah, till end of November.
So I'm thinking of doing a Neo PC run with a different weapon, not a spear. I did an entire spear run the first time I did it. So using a different weapon this time, and maybe do the DLCs.
There's been a lot of DLCs, dude.
Yeah, there's not only been a lot of DLCs, but I've heard nothing but good things about the DLCs. So yeah, that may be a good time to do that.
I know Manverse Games been playing those and speaks pretty highly of them. So I don't think there's really anything else. What game? Shadow of Mordor next week? Is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shadow of Mordor next week. Evil Within 2 shortly after, and
South Park.
The butthole game.
Butthole.
South Park
13th or 17th.
2 weeks.
It's 2 days before TwitchCon.
Yeah, it's 2 weeks.
2 days before I leave for TwitchCon.
Yeah,
so
man,
it's
that
going
sucks
to be
for
like,
people going to TwitchCon, right,
That's
Co?
my plan, though. My plan is... No, fuck you. Fuck you. My plan is to play through Stick of Truth again, and then do as long as I can fucking keep my eyes open on goddamn Fractured Butthole.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm the only streamer that's excited for Assassin's Creed Origin, but then that's coming like after that.
I'm kind of like, warming up to it, man.
I have hopes.
I have hopes.
I'm not excited for it.
Exactly.
I have hopes.
I played it at their freaking E3 booth,
Yeah.
man. It is gonna be like if you're an Assassin's Creed fan, you're gonna be so happy.
That's the problem, though. Most people are like me, where they're burned Assassin's Creed fans, where it's like Black Flag was cool, and it's all been downhill from there. Origin has a deficit to make up.
Yeah,
but listen,
it can't just be a good Assassin's Creed.
Dude,
it has to be an awesome Assassin's Creed.
Did you
it
hear
has
about
the history behind it? So good, man.
That's what I'm saying. Did you hear about the mode that they?
It's like the learning mode or
You take
whatever,
out all
right?
the difficulty. You take all the challenge and all the difficulty out.
Yeah.
And you just explore the story and the environment that they had created.
Yeah.
Isn't
And
that
it's supposed to be
something I heard?
historical. It's supposed to be for historical purposes. Like they tell you about the world of like Mesopotamia or whatever, ancient Egypt. Yeah. Sounds cool.
And they brought in like some crazy people too for like, ancient Egypt mythology and everything and the design of the pyramids. When I was walking around in that game, I was like, damn, it feels like I'm there, because the attention to detail is disgusting.
Yeah, I like Syndicate. I believe I put that on Game of the Year list last year.
Syndicate was fun.
I had a good time with it, so we'll see. I hope I'm pleasantly surprised. We didn't talk about the Red Dead Redemption 2 trailer. If I'm honest, I didn't watch it. As soon as I heard it's a prequel, I was kind of like, I've already heard that story before, man. I'm not really interested in that. I want to see like post that guy. So I don't know. Maybe I'm
also.
Yeah, but there's nothing after that. After Marston, it's the Wild West is gone. At that
you might
point.
be right. Yeah, that was right at the end of that. So it makes sense to, I guess, go back in time. But
so they got to go back.
Yeah. Co, what was that?
There is one more release next week, but it's one that me and just like 5 other people are excited for. It's a game called Elix.
I've seen that many times today. What the fuck is that?
Elix is, if you've ever heard of the old Gothic series by a company called Piranha Bytes. The Piranha Bytes made the Gothic series, which were kind of cult classic games. They had a lot of problems, but also a lot of really cool parts. And then they made another series that was really not that good. And now Elix is supposedly like their let's get back to the good stuff game. It's a sci-fi tech fantasy RPG. That apparently you can be a guy wearing full knight armor, or you can be in like full electro style Tesla armor with a plasma gun, or you can use axes, or you can use pistols.
I remember you
like
talking
all
about
sorts
this.
of different. Or you can use magic. There's magic in the game, and the thing is it looks really cool. The world looks very interesting. The character progression and how they're doing that looks pretty freaking cool. But one huge issue with Piranha Bytes games is the combat systems are abysmal. And unfortunately, if you look at all the gameplay videos of Elix, it doesn't look like it's gotten much better. So I'm in the boat where I'm going to be trying it. I'm going to give the old college try. I really hope the combat system is good enough to where we can at least get to the other cool stuff with it. But a little part of me is worried it's going to be so clunky and unintuitive that it's just not going to work. So.
Yeah, that
but it could be really cool. I'm in the same boat with Elix as Assassin's Creed Origins. Like I'm cautiously looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm hoping Mordor's really good. I hope next week we're fucking just talking about how good that game is and not talking about how the microtransactions suck.
Yeah.
Like, I need a game that will keep me interested. Cuphead, I wish I didn't beat some of those bosses so quick because I would like to have played that game for a little bit longer than one stream.
Yeah, I'll take Cuphead 2 if we could.
Let's just get that done right now.
Is anybody gonna do some of that Fallout VR? Huh?
When is that release?
I think it's in November, like mid-November or something like that.
I think they said that's coming free with all Vive purchases after that.
Yes, if you don't own a Vive, yeah.
It's a good pack-in for sure. Yeah. We shall see. But I think that's going to do it. Let's do some shout-outs and get out here because I know Cohh needs to go pretty soon. So let's start with him. Cohh, do some shout-outs.
Sure. First of all, big thank you as always to JP and a very tired Zeke. Thank you for being here today, buddy. And of course, Burke Black, always a pleasure. It's been awesome, and thank you for being here. My name is Cohh. You can find me every single day at 8 a.m. on my channel. In 14 days, I finished my 4 years streaming every day challenge on Twitch. We're going to be doing like a big party, some fun stuff on the 18th. So, yeah, stop by if you want that. And then, of course, in October, we've got so many games coming up. It doesn't even make sense. So, every day in October at 8 a.m. Hope to see you guys there. And as always, thank you for watching today.
Good stuff. Thanks for being on the show. Zeke, do some shout-outs all the way from New York.
Yo, I'm Ezekiel the Third. I'm here in New York City covering New York City Comic-Con for Twitch. I'll be on the Twitch live stage for the next 4 days. You want to check me out on /Twitch is where I'll be broadcasting from. Follow my Twitter if you want to know who I'm doing and what I'm talking about. You can do that at Ezekiel_I. Thank you to Burke Black for coming on the show, Captain. It's good to have you. But now I'm gonna go pass the fuck out.
Do it. Enjoy the bed.
Don't forget you ordered a massage.
Yeah, you got the massage coming. Don't forget.
Oh, all right, good idea. Good point. Good point. I'll set my alarm.
Yeah, set your alarm. And last but not least, our guest for today, Mr. Burke Black. Do some shout outs, sir. Thanks so much for coming on.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. This is a freaking honor. So thank you guys. Yeah, I'm Burke Black. I start at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every day except for Sundays. I'll be doing more of that Total War action, at least I think until Mordor comes out. And then I'll hit that, and then we're going to do it. I'm a fat guy, okay? So I'm going to try to do Fallout 4 VR all the way through, man. Maybe I'll lose 100 pounds, you know? Come back skinny from Fallout 4. That'd be great. We'll see.
You'll take your headset off and just be like, wow, what happened? That'd be good. I
love how when Burke started talking about Fallout 4, he got like real jivey.
Yeah.
And
he's also going to role play
some Fallout 4.
That's my redneck coming out a little bit. I'm an Indiana boy, man. I'm an Indiana boy.
Nice. Well, cool. That's it. We'll be back next week talking about it's Shadow of War, right? That's the second one.
Yeah.
Why'd they have to name? Why couldn't it just be Shadow of Mordor 2? Done. Easy. Divinity Sin did it. It worked out. Battlefront did it. They're doing all right.
They gotta be original, man.
Fucking. Let's get. Can we get the microtransaction to change the goddamn name of the game? Can we just do that? Let's just go full throttle.
If you buy enough crates.
All right, we gotta get out of here.
Great.
Thanks everyone so much for watching. We'll be back next week at the same time. I do believe 5 o'clock Eastern. We'll see you then. Bye bye.